All right. Well, my clock says noon, so I think we'll go ahead and get started. You may hear a few more chimes as people hop on, but hopefully they won't be too distracting. I'm Heidi Garvin from Grow, Nebraska. You might have seen my name on the email. And part of my job is to help facilitate trainings like these to help Nebraska businesses get the information that they need to grow and thrive. So we are glad to have all of you on this free Third Thursday training. We do have them every month on different topics, so if you enjoy this call, I recommend that you check out our upcoming trainings as they arrive. I am going to ask that if you can, please mute your phone to kind of prevent background noise, and just unmute if you need to chime in to ask a question. Trainings like these would not be possible without the generous support of our donors and our sponsors, and we do like keeping these free and open to the public. So I want to give a big shout out today to our sponsor, Great Plains Communication. So without their help, trainings like these would not be possible. And now, the reason we're all here today, we have Michelle from Method Development, and she is going to be talking to us about ways to keep your website fresh, fast, and friendly. Michelle, I'll let you take it away.
All right. Thanks, Heidi. And I just want to say thank you to Heidi and Janelle for inviting me to speak at this opportunity and to talk with you all today. First, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I am a co-owner of Method Development with my husband, Jason. We specialize in custom software and website solutions for small and mid-sized businesses and nonprofits. We're located in the Omaha area, so if you're ever here, you can visit us. We also have several software products that have customers nationwide, including Web Hornet, which is basically a website editor, and a file share system called BurnerLink. I have a background in technical project management and front-end web development. Been doing this since I graduated college back in '96, so a long time now. And our company is almost 12 years old, so we're excited to celebrate that coming up pretty quick here in March. I have a daughter who I love very much, and one of my other passions aside from technology is baton twirling, so just a little side fact about me. So today we're going to be covering quite a few different topics here, but the importance of keeping your website fresh, some website trends that we're seeing in the industry and have been helping make happen for customers, making your website a tool, and also the importance of a good relationship with your software or website vendor. So let's get started. First, let's talk about the importance of keeping your site fresh. So that will be like the second slide if you of the document that you have in front of you. Now, I want to make sure you think about your website as the front door to your business. You would not let your front store display products that you don't sell or you don't offer. And you don't want to have information up on your website, same way that you no longer offer or is not, you don't want on display for customers to see. Now more than ever, people will research your business online before coming to your storefront, so they'll look for you online. And if your website is not fresh, you'll be showing people false information. So you want to keep that updated. Another reason that you want to keep your website updated is search engines love new content, and they love original content. Search engines crawl the web. There's programs called spiders and bots that crawl the web looking at websites to see different websites and index those websites. If your website is outdated and your content has not changed in a long time on your website, there's no reason for that search engine to dig deeper into your website and rank you higher. So I know a lot of you probably have questions on how do I get ranked higher? Well, one big key factor there is to change your content from time to time and do things like blogging. So you want to talk about things related to your industry, and that's a major reason to keep your website fresh so you get found by search engines. So change your content and blog and freshen it up. Now, not only do you want search engines coming to your site, but you also want customers coming back to your site. So if you don't change your website, you're not really giving your customers a reason to come back to your website. So make sure you do that again by, updating pictures on your website, updating content, updating maybe news and happenings in your industry. One of the things that we really like to do on, our different sites is talk about unique things in the industry that we're encountering. It's possibly like customers ask us a question and then we'll talk about it. One of our developers likes to blog on different topics in the developing world, and it really attracts attention to our sites, and we get more traffic coming back. If you're using social media, Twitter, Facebook, and such, a great thing to do is basically put some content on your website and then link to that content from your social media sites. You don't really want to use your social media sites as your main website. You want to have a website of your own and keep driving traffic back to your site. And remember that your website is your 24/7 by 365 sales rep. So keep it fresh, keep it new. People are looking at that site. And of course, one other reason to keep your site fresh is your competition is doing it. They're updating their websites, so you need to do the same thing. And we like to say proof of life. So if your site is never changing, you're not really proving that you're around. You're just stale. So proof of life. Make sure it's updated. So moving on, some trends that we've been seeing and been helping our customers with. One of them has kind of been around now for a while, but it's really important, is so smartphones and tablet usage are continuing to grow. People search and make decisions while they're on those devices, and I bet many of you have a smartphone or a tablet sitting right next to you. So even I kind of did some research, and back in 2015, Amazon was seeing almost 70% of holiday customers using mobile devices to shop. So if you're just getting started on your website, I highly encourage that you consider a responsive website or a mobile version of your website. And if you have a website already and you haven't converted yet, I highly recommend that you consider converting to a responsive website. Now, what are the difference between responsive and a mobile version of the website? Is responsive websites will resize. It's one website that will resize to the different devices, tablet to a mobile device, and then back to a normal PC. Whereas a mobile version of your website, you have one version that's your normal large website that fits well on a PC, and then you have another version that is slimmed down for your mobile device. Then you have to maintain two websites. So we really recommend going the responsive route. Now, this is an investment for businesses, but it's just highly recommendable because of a couple things. Google may penalize you in your search rank if you don't have a mobile-friendly website. So that's really something to consider when you're trying to reach audiences. You may not be ranked as high because your site isn't mobile-friendly. And also, Google says that 61% of users are unlikely to return to a mobile site if they're having trouble with that site or trouble accessing it. And then 40% of those people then go ahead and visit a competitor site instead. So it's really, really something to think about there. Not only to have a mobile site, but then also to test it on your devices. So go ahead and try your try your website on your mobile device or on your tablet. Another thing, if you're just starting out or if you have what's called Flash, I would recommend you get away from any Flash websites. They don't really work well on mobile devices. All right. Moving on, another trend that we are seeing in website design is high-quality graphics. The days of tiny pictures and really dated backgrounds are kind of over. If your site hasn't been revamped for several years, you may really want to rethink your graphics. So you'll go to a site nowadays and the whole background will be a beautiful, high-quality photo. It really helps enhance the website experience and bring it to life. The great thing is that stock photo is very affordable and it's easy to purchase. There's lots of variety when you go search some stock photo sites. There's lots of different sizes, and it's typically about between $10 to $20 per photo, depending on what you're looking for. Another route, and I think even better yet, is we like to tell businesses that we work with to take their own photos or hire a professional photographer to snap some shots of your place of work or your staff doing day-to-day work. So that's some great options for you. I did include there some links to some stock and free photography sites. Original photography is great. That's another real big trend. Actually, some people are even saying get away from the stock photo, move to what's called original or authentic photography, more natural. So just something for you to think about for your site. And I know one of the questions that we had come through, I think it was from Sandra, is ways to improve, the look and give your site a website a pop. You can really do that with large graphics that can span the entire site. Now, of course, you want to make sure that those photos make sense to what you're talking about your topic. So do make sure to research those photos. Imagery can, of course, make an emotional connection to your customer. So you want to take that into consideration. So any questions on that so far? Okay, we'll keep moving. All right, the next item I want to kind of cover is simple web design. Simple web design, so if you're just starting out or looking to kind of redo your website, we always say simple is kind of better. Simple web design makes for a better what's called user experience, a UX. Clutter is not necessarily attractive to the human eye, so try to use white space when you can. Keep things spaced out. But you still want to give visitors enough information so that they want to click or to buy or to act or to read more. Content's important, so we always know that. But you don't have to, for example, clutter your home page with too much content. Something I always like to recommend is kind of the power of three. Come up with 3 value propositions for your business and say, what do I want to do? What are the services or the features that are attractive to customers? And come up with those 3 things. They could be products, they could be services, they could be anything that you really want to feature on your website. And then come up with like 3 icons or 3 graphics that represent that and show those 3 maybe on the home page and allow people to really drill in and find out more about those products or services, because visitors will dig in. Okay, so they'll drive in and they will click to read more if they're interested. Another thing is a well-designed navigation. You really want to think about your navigation, and it allows your visitors to rapidly access information about your company. So make it easy for visitors to find what they're looking for. Nothing's worse than not being able to find a contact button or a contact link to try to contact somebody. All right. Another trend that is important to on a good website to have is a call to action. So once that visitor is on your site, you want to use buttons and forms and other website features to call out to that visitor to take action. So an example here is I've got a contact button there, if you can see that on the document. But you can take big buttons and put them like in your header and hyperlink those buttons so that a person can click on those and either get to your contact page or even call you directly from your website. A lot of times people will even drop the phone number in the button so you can see the phone number or click if you're on a mobile device. Another call to action kind of element of a website is adding lead collection forms. So we recommend gathering, information on potential customers with small, simple lead collection forms, and I have an example up there to stay updated with, for example, digital marketing. So that'd be like a marketing newsletter. And you get the name and the email of somebody visiting your website, and now that's a lead for you to do future marketing to. You could also, if you have a product that you could do a sample of, you could do, try a free sample and get some contact information so you can send out your free sample or register for a free trial of, a product or service you're offering. So it's a good way to just call a person to action and say, sign up now for our sign up for our newsletter or sign up for our service. Other ways, of course, as we all know, are e-commerce, buy now and order online. So once you've got the customer there, you want them what to do. Your website's for you 24/7, so for that calls to action. Okay. A trend, and if you've not seen it, which I'm sure most of you have, is adding video to your website. Not only do you want to tell your visitors about products and services, but you also want to show them with video. So we say show short videos of products and services. It's a great way to engage your visitors, and you can really put that in different places of your site. We've had customers add clients those short videos to the home page site that might showcase their building or their business. We've had clients that have had videos appear in their to show how a past event went and how fun it is. I have several customers who like to do videos of elves, and that's actually a really great one because you are the expert in your industry, you and your staff. So if you can take a video of you talking about your product service, not only are you telling somebody about the product, but you're some of your personality, and you're showing yourself off and you're showing your expertise. So it's just people really connect with video. Now, ways to get that into your website once you take a video. It's so much easier now with the smartphones, but you can have your website vendor host that video and integrate it into your website, or what I think is kind of a better option is you can take your video and put it up on YouTube or any other type of video hosting site, and then embed that video into your site using code provided by the video host. It's very simple to do. And one thing I like about, for example, YouTube, they are a major search engine a lot of businesses don't often. So it's great about maybe putting it up on YouTube, and then if somebody is searching for your product and service, not only is it on your website, but it's also on YouTube. So you kind of are hitting two things there. All right. Any questions so far? Okay. So just a couple of other items. I had a couple of other pages in that PDF document that just talk about some ways to kind of add some modern design elements to your site. And so here are a few suggestions for that. Now, custom fonts, if you don't like a boring standard font that most sites use, like Arial or some of the other standard ones, it's really easy to display custom fonts on your site without needing the user to actually have to download and install those fonts. So there's ways to do that in the web world. Now, you may need a developer to do that, but that's something that you could easily ask your developer to do just to kind of snazz up your site a little bit. And there's a variety of modern fonts that are available to you today. Okay. Another thing we like to kind of use occasionally, depending on our client, is kind of add bright color or different gradients to their site. It adds a little bit of personality to your site, and it's really pleasing to the eye, and it can stand out. Now, of course, it doesn't work for all companies, but if you kind of have want to show off just a little different personality, it's a little bit unique from majority of the sites out there. Another trend that we're seeing in design is called card design and grid layout. Card design and grid layout is really great for organizing content, and some companies now, when you go to their website, instead of having a standard navigation up across the top, they're using these larger graphics or icons with a word or two underneath them, and then the click, and then you drill in for more. Now, doesn't work for all businesses, but it's just kind of a design that's kind of trendy right now. So just kind of organizes content a little bit a different way, and it lets you explore the website a little differently. Okay. So now I'm going to jump into, if there's no questions, talking about making your website a tool. We've kind of hit upon this already, talking about call to action and lead generation forms. So that you can do that with online forms and data collection forms. Contact us. Other ways we've had customers do this is employment forms, scholarship forms, any kind of way that you need to collect data from a user. And you can think of that both in lead collection, but also just if you need to collect more data from even your customers that are coming to your website, and you need more information to help your business process flows work. We can build, most developers can build forms, and a lot of website tools offer that as well. Another thing you can add to your website is a calendar of events. So if your organization puts on a lot of events, you can add event calendars to your site with details, and then not only have the events listed, but do event registration. Now, another thing I want to talk about is a blog or a news area. So if you're listening in today and you're thinking a lot about how do I get my website found on the search engines, this is one of the areas that we kind of key in with our customers. We always say content is king, and while you may not always feel like you have something to talk about on your blog, you should really try to blog. We always say minimum once a month. We're happy, though, if our customers even get out and blog at once a quarter or so. But this is a great way for not only search engines but customers to come back to your website and look and see what you've been talking about and what's going on in your industry. So a lot of times we recommend to companies to take a question that has come into your organization and write about it and just talk a little bit about it. Search engines and people are always searching for content on questions that they can't find answers to. So, then potentially your website could rank higher on that particular topic. And when you blog, we say just use natural wording that you would use when you're talking to just anybody, and let those words and phrases kind of turn into what people are searching on. So you want it to kind of be natural flowing talk when you're blogging. But we do recommend to try to do that. If you can do it more than once a month, great. Do it as often as you'd like. But I know everybody's a small business, and so it's difficult to do, but we say, try to make the effort to do that, or have one of your staff members do that. Another fun tool to add to your website is a gallery of photos. This kind of shows the personality of your company. So we recommend, putting photos up, and it gives a reason for your staff and for people to come back and see who you are and see what your company is all about. Okay. Another tool that we have a lot of customers come and talk to us about is private pages, or the ability for members or their customers to log into a back end and be able to access things that the general public could not access. So this is where you're really taking that next step from going from a website that people can just look at and browse, to using it more as a tool where now you've got a login and password for people to access a whole back-end set of maybe documents, maybe it's additional forms, maybe it's invoices for your customers. So you can have your website do those types of things. Of course, that does require programming. But what that can do is, depending on what you want to use that for, is it can save you time and management on your, for your business, so that your members are logging in and doing activities that you would normally have to do yourself. So it's an interesting thing to start thinking about for your business. Now, other ways, of course, to make your website a tool is to take that step into e-commerce. Now, if you're new and just starting out and you have a product to sell and you don't really want to invest in some large shopping cart, we often say try PayPal or a third-party type of shopping cart that you can still either link off to, so a person's on your website and then they may be directed to a separate shopping cart to do that part, or you can have PayPal buttons within your website for people to click on and to make payments to. Now, where that saves you money is that you're not paying, for the full shopping cart and necessarily all of the processing fees. There are fees attached, so you'd have to check those out depending on which product you go with. But that is a little bit less expensive than going with a full-blown shopping cart. Now, if you want to take that...
Michelle, real quick question. Would you recommend that, like having your shopping cart on your website above using like a platform like Shopify or BigCommerce and just redirecting there?
I think, if you're probably a organization that is really dependent on, you're selling products and services and you really need the power and you have the budget, I would go with probably Shopify or one of those larger carts. Because the other thing that some of those larger carts can do is they can integrate better with Google Analytics. So you may want to consider that when you're looking at a shopping cart product. Now PayPal, like when we integrate PayPal buttons into websites, it's not always as pretty as having, a more customizable cart. So the buttons aren't really beautiful. The process isn't very streamlined. So you'll go from your website and then the person will click on the PayPal button to add to cart, and then when they go to checkout, they're actually driven to a PayPal website. Now they come back to your website, but it's not real seamless to the user. So those are some things to think about. Did that help answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
Great. So as I think that was Heidi who was asking, there are so many great shopping cart programs out there or services that offer that. Shopify is a good one. So definitely, if you decide, you can search those things online and try to find a service that will do shopping carts and websites for you online, or you can work with a vendor like us and we can try to help you make that decision as well. Some things that you do with any of this kind of the things that I'm talking about on this area is on any online payments or accepting payments. You do have to be mindful of having a secure website for e-commerce and for payments online, because you're accepting credit card information, which is very sensitive, and you want to make sure that your website is secure and that it's PCI compliant. So that, in that case, you do want to make sure that you're working with somebody who kind of understands that realm if you don't understand it. Some other ways that we make a website a tool is you can set up ways for online payments for events, for example. So we've integrated some of that within membership, online registration, and event registration, and then also accepting invoice payments. Kind of anything that if you need to generate revenue from your website, accepting credit card payments, you can use your website to do that. All right, and then if you're following along with the slides, the next one related to making your website a tool. This is the area that I really specialize, and it is going into different businesses and learning about their business workflows and business processes to see how we can take their website to the next level and smooth out some of those processes using a website. So, for example, we'll come into a business and find out that they are keying in data for any particular type of thing and collecting data, and that data needs to be stored. Let's say they're typing it into an Excel worksheet. So we can take that and change it into an online form that only they have access to, and then that data is captured into a database, and then we produce reports for them. And it could be possible that one thing, as you kind of see in the diagram that I show, maybe you capture data, which leads to another form of capturing data, which leads to a process being kicked off, and something, maybe an email gets sent out. So that all requires coding, but can be done within website software. So it's just a bigger way of thinking about your business and saying, hey, do I need some software to make my business processes flow more smoothly? So some examples too, we've done databases of members, databases of clients and employees. We, for example, have done medical applications and membership applications, customer relationship managers. So and people have moved from having desktop applications to actually having their website do all those tools. So there are a lot of businesses that are actually dependent on their website for their business to run. Another thing that we do is store and allow our clients to access documents as well. So kind of anything you can dream up, we tend to try to build in software. It's a fun business to be in. All right, any questions on that? So the last topic I kind of wanted to hit upon today was selecting a website software vendor and the importance of that relationship. So if you're kind of starting out or you're looking to switch over to a vendor, here's just some things that I know I would think about if I had to choose a vendor. And I like to tell my customers about these things as well. So not only do you want to get an idea of the services that your vendor provides, but I often like to say, hey, we don't provide these types of services that are kind of associated. So it's good to know that, because while you may think that your website vendor is going to do your website and run your email and do all your marketing for you, that's not necessarily true. So you need to find out what services they provide and maybe what associated services they do not provide. Then I also say ask for website samples of work and references. Most vendors can give you samples of websites they've worked on and even references to contact. So it's a good idea to do, to ask for that. I also recommend understanding the pricing for development and ongoing support. So it's just a good thing to ask up front, and if you know what you're looking for, you can even ask for an estimate on the website that you're trying to build or the software you're trying to build. Now, extensive software is difficult to estimate. but you can certainly try to get an estimate for that. Most general websites you can get an estimate for pretty easily. You'll also want to know about, and this is pretty important, about the ongoing customer support. So once you have that person or have that company as a vendor, a website vendor, what kind of support do they offer going forward? Do they just set you up and you can't really reach out to them and get help? A lot of products out there, let's say you decided you wanted to go with GoDaddy's website service. So you could put up a website there, but it's difficult often to get a hold of them for assistance on moving your domain or helping with problems you have related to your website. So you want to check that out ahead of time and know that you can get hold of that vendor, phone and email, if you need to.
And Melanie, could you make a quick point about maybe the price difference in if you're having them make the updates to your website or if you're updating the content yourself? Michelle, sorry.
I'm sorry. What was the question? I'm sorry.
Could you talk just a little bit about the difference between if you're having your the person you're working with update the content on your website or if you're updating it yourself?
Right. So how it works is when you hire a vendor, what you do want to understand is your website in a product or in a platform, and this is one of the questions kind of a little further down on that sheet, but what platform is the vendor using? So there's a product called WordPress, and there are many other development platforms. Ours is actually called Web Hornet, where you can go in yourself and update your website. So you'll want to know if there's such a product, especially if you like to do those things, if you're comfortable around tech and you can log in and do that. But what you'll also want to know is, does your vendor provide the service of actually going in and making the changes for you? So for example, we have customers in our Web Hornet platform where they can log into the site and change and update their content on their website. But if they don't want to mess around with it, all they have to do is email or call us and we'll make the changes for them. So you will want to check with your vendor if they offer that service to do the updates for you. And the pricing on that, what that updates typically cost. Another thing is getting an idea of the turnaround time. How long do updates take? Are they usually simple text changes? Are they done within 24 hours? Can you get in and do it? Or if it's a bigger change, how long do those typically take? And another thing that I always like to do or like to think about is I like to think that we talk in pretty non-tech talk, and my representatives, my employees who work on our Web Hornet product, we really try to have them talk non-tech talk to our customers so that they don't have to understand all of the tech jargon. So, I think it's important to find at least a vendor that you can relate with. And why do you want to have such a good relationship with your vendor? That's kind of my last topic I want to hit. But it's really important. I mean, just like probably any service that you need ongoing, you will need a good relationship with your vendor because you do need to visit with them regularly on your website. And you want to make it a point to meet or to contact them once in a while to go over and to communicate with them your needs. So I think it's good to do a meeting at minimum once a year with them. If you can do it more often, quarterly is great. So visit with them and communicate with their needs. Sometimes your vendor will send out recommendations to you, but it's good to ask them for recommendations so they don't necessarily know what you're looking for, but ask for recommendations and they can always take a peek at your website and see where you need to make updates. And then I think it's good for your vendor to also experience your products and your services, possibly your place of work, and understand your workflow, because they can always help to, say, hey, we could add this to your website and this could help out. Maybe we could add a map to your website and then people could find out where your location is, or maybe we could add a new form for data collection to collect name and phone number and some other pieces of information that you need in your day-to-day workflow. So there we go. So that's my discussion, and I just want to offer up if we have any questions. I know there's some questions to go over, but if anybody does have questions, you're all welcome to contact me. My information is at the end of the PDF presentation.
Yep, and I'll be emailing it out after the call as well.
All right. Heidi, did we want to go through any of these questions?
Yeah, let's pull them up here. I know we had a fair few just about getting started. Would you recommend they talk to you, or would you recommend they start researching vendors to get started, or what would you say the very first step is?
Really, it's kind of what they're comfortable with. Typically, what I say is try to get a little bit organized before you just dive right in and to build a website. But they can certainly talk to me. That's no problem. Feel free to give me a call or shoot me an email. But some of the things that I recommend when you start thinking about putting a website together is think about your website URL and web address, what you'd like. Usually it's kind of something related to your business name. Then start creating what's called a sitemap, which is a list of pages that you'd like to see on your website. And those pages, of course, will be filled with content and photos. So you'll want to start organizing a little bit your content and your photography. And then another important thing that you can think at during this process is your goal for your website. Are you trying to get people to just call you for your product or service? Are you trying to get them to buy online? Because you might need a different vendor to do a shopping cart versus just a general website to have a contact form or such. And, if you don't want to do all that yourself, you just contact a company like ours and we can help you through this process. But certainly don't get bogged down too much with the content and the pages. We always say try to get something up and going for your website, and you can always add as you go.
And are there platforms, if people are creating their own website, are there platforms you recommend staying away from since they need to be mobile and tablet friendly?
Well, I think, there's a lot of different platforms out there, so it's kind of hard to say, one's really better than that. And we kind of try to stay out of that, what we call the holy war of what platform is better. But certainly do research on your platform that you're looking at. A lot of the bigger ones like WordPress, for example, ours, we build everything now. We do ours in our Web Hornet platform. Everything is mobile friendly, so you have your website that resizes down to mobile friendly. A lot of people are in WordPress. You can go that direction, and they have mobile friendly templates. The things that you kind of do want to be aware of, and when you ask about platforms, is this an open source platform like WordPress, or like ours is not an open source? So that means that not just any developers can contribute to that platform, and we did that for a reason. So, for example, WordPress is open, which means you can go in and start installing plugins, but you don't know what will happen to those, and it could potentially lead to some risk of your website. Now, if you have a good developer who's worked with WordPress and knows WordPress, they know typically which plugins to stay away from. But we have chosen, and other companies have as well, to build our own platform that is locked down so it's not so easily hackable, and we roll out updates regularly for our customers so that if there is any type of flaw in the system, we roll that out, we fix it, they don't have to worry about that themselves. Okay?
Hey, Michelle, this is Norm.
Hi, Norm.
Hi. Is your company a company where, say, for example, I can come in, sit down, and kind of interview with you and share with you what my company is all about and what I would like to see, and then you can give me some information about how to go about developing a website.
Sure, definitely.
Okay. Are you located in Omaha?
We are. We've actually just moved completely virtual, so we'd pick an office space to go to. We'd come to you, or we'd set up a meeting space for that. But yes, we could certainly do that for you. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because I'm almost like a one person shop, and I would love to have a website, but I don't want to spend time.
Sure.
I want to spend as little time as I possibly can
Yep.
on the website. I want to spend time on my products and stuff like that.
Right. And we're seeing more and more of that. For a while, there was a trend where everybody wanted to build their own website. But I think a lot more people are saying, hey, I need to get back to my products and services and polish those, and I don't have time to do this. Well, it takes a lot more than what people think to build a website. So certainly we can assist with that.
Okay. So I can get in touch with you on with this number on
the PDF document. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Then.
Sounds good.
Any other questions?
That's all I've got.
All right. Well, Michelle, thank you so much for all this wonderful information.
Yes.
And and I will be sending out your contact information after the call in case anybody has follow-up questions for you, or like Norm, they'd like to contact you and sit down one-on-one. I'm also going to be sending out a quick survey. I would like to ask everybody on the call to please fill that out, just letting us know what you thought about the training and if there are any topics that you're interested in hearing about in the future. And I'd also like to invite everybody on the call, if you want to learn more about marketing and technology tools, we do have our Market Tech Conference coming up on March 16th in Kearney, Nebraska. We're going to bring in a lot of big-name speakers, and you can learn more about that at markettechconference.org. So thank you all again for attending.
Okay.
And I hope you all have a wonderful day.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks, Heidi.
Thank you. Thank you, Michelle.
Bye.